had given up on her plans. She had given up on what she had been hoping for. She had given up on what she was even working toward and what she expected, which can be a very painful death in and of itself. She was in a season of back-to-back-to-back losses. Ooh, when you find yourself in a season like that, you really have to be so careful, because if you're not careful, you'll lose faith in God, and you'll lose faith in yourself, and you'll lose faith in those who are around you. You'll lose faith in who you are at the core. You lose your joy, you lose your smile, you lose your ability to laugh, you lose your ability to love, and you lose your ability to live, because your expectation, which used to be your energy, has now become your enemy. Can I be very honest with you today and tell you there are times in life where we have to come to grips with the fact that God didn't promise you what you had in mind. God promised you what He had in mind for you. And often when people come to that realization, they find themselves drowning in the sea of disappointment. I did not plan for 2020. This was my year of clarity. This is my year when I should see my way clear. I did not plan for this. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself drowning in the sea of disappointment. Just because you can't see it clearly today does not mean that you won't see it clearly. Let me say that again. Just because you can't see your way clear right now does not mean that you won't see your way clear. She is now disappointed, and she is struggling with this thing that's called expectation, because you see, disappointment cannot exist without expectation. So here's what a lot of people do. To avoid being disappointed, they just make a decision to live their life with no expectation. Let me tell you something today. If I could pull right up in your house and sit right on your couch, or sit on your hardwood floor, or sit on your carpet, or sit on your coffee table, I would do that today, because I am so driven today to tell you that in spite of everything that you are facing, don't you dare give up on your expectation. Don't lower your expectations. Raise the roof on them and just watch God as He works all things together for your good. Some people lower their expectations and they stop hoping and they stop anticipating, and they get to the point where they don't want to desire anything. And they just don't want to desire anything because they don't want to go through the pain of being disappointed again. But let me just tell you that trouble, I don't care who you are, trouble has a way of finding you. Wherever you are, it will find you. But also I want you to know that God knows right where you're at too. And whatever you're facing, in the middle of it, you got to hold on to your expectation. It is not going to end like this. I declare that I didn't come through what I've come through to get to this point and it go out like this. Devil, you're a liar. COVID-19, you are a liar. I shall live and see the goodness of the Lord. Not when I get to heaven, but I'm going to see it right here, right now, in the land of the living. Hold on to your expectation. I don't care what trouble is raging. Trouble found its way into Naomi's house. The woman whose name means joy. Her name means joy. It means friend. It means happiness. It means satisfaction at the very core. But she's been through so much now that she wants to change her name. Somebody ought to holler back and holler loud and put it in the atmosphere and just say, don't do it, don't do it. Whatever you do, don't change your name just because your circumstances are stacking up against you. Don't change what God has called you. He's called you the head and not the tail. He's called you above and not beneath. He's called you blessed in the city and blessed in the field. Don't you dare change your name. I know that you've probably been through some disappointments, and I know that you've been through a lot of changes. I know that we have suffered a horrific loss. I know that we've got trauma stacked upon trauma, but don't let it change you who you are at the core. Don't allow your circumstances to define who you are. God has already defined who you are. He has already put his hand on you. He's already marked you. He's already made you. Just say to yourself when that thing starts moving in, just say, I don't know how I'm coming out of this, but I am. I don't know how long it'll take me to rebuild, but the same God that brought me and helped me rebuild before will help me rebuild again. I will survive. I don't know how long I got to face this, but when it is all said and done, I will come out of this. There's a lot of things I don't know. I don't know. The enemy, he might have messed with the how. I don't know how I'm coming out. I don't know how I'm getting over this. I don't know how I'm going to make it. I don't know how I'm going to survive. But what he cannot touch is he cannot touch the who of you, who you are. I know who I am. And in spite of my loss, I'm going to keep on knowing who I am. I know who I am in spite of what I feel like might have slipped through my hands. I know who I am in spite of my situation. I know who I am in spite of my circumstance. I know who I am. Come what may from day to day. I know I might have lost my how, but I'll tell you what I haven't lost. I haven't lost who I am. I may face disappointments, but I do know who I am in God. I might have to press, but I'm going to come through it. I might have to cry, but I am going to come through it. I might have to walk in my bedroom and fall on my face, but when it's all said and done, I'm coming out of this. I might have to take the long road, but I'm still going to get there. I said I'm still going to get there. I might be bringing up the rear, but I am going to get there. You might get there before me. You might have an easier journey than I do. You might graduate before I do, but don't sleep on me, because I'm going to tell you something. I know who I am, and I know in whom I have believed, and I am persuaded that he is able to get me where I need to go. Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost in here today. Somebody needs to know that you are who God says that you are. Never allow anybody, never allow a storm, never allow your circumstances to change the who of who you are. Because listen to me, the blessing is on the who of who you are. The blessing is on the who of who you are at the core. If you lose the who, then what you're facing will overtake you. And if you lose the who you are, then you will lose the blessing as a secondary consequence. But let me tell you something. That's why you got to know who you are, because there's so much on the line. The blessing is on you. You understand that? The blessing is on you. It's not so much on the business. It's not so much on the house. The house is blessed because you are in it. The business is blessed because you are in it. The blessing is on you. It's not on your situation. It's not on your finances. It's not on the things that you lost. The blessing is on you. And let me say it like this. Don't lose yourself in the middle of your situation, because the blessing and the favor and the anointing and the gifting is on you. And when you hold on to those things, it doesn't matter how low we go. You watch and see. The blessing is on me, and God will raise me up again. As long as I'm living and moving and having my being in Him, then I'm going to make it, because the blessing is not on the stuff. The blessing is on me. And that's why you cannot afford to lose who you are at the core. Put an oxygen mask on yourself. Breathe in, breathe out. Have yourself a wonderful day. Find a way to bless yourself, because you, my sister, and you, my brother, you, my elders, you, my deacons, you are church members. You have got to survive this. It's not about what we've been through. It's not about what we've lost, and we've lost greatly. It's not even about where we are. It's about you. It's about who you are. Don't lose sight of who you are, because the blessing is on you. And if you can keep your countenance up, if you can keep your expectation up, if you can keep your eyes looking up to the hills from which cometh your help, God will pull you out of it. Kind of like the prodigal son, he was locked up in the hog pen. He was in the hog pen. He was covered from head to his toe with stink, with stench. He had manure between his toes, but in the middle of all of that, he came back to himself. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but if you've lost your hope, I'm calling you back. If you've lost your peace, I'm calling you back to yourself. If you feel like, I don't know if I'm going to survive this, come on back, come on back, come on back. I'm calling you back. I want you to know who you are in God. You got to remember who you are. And that, just like that boy, he had to remember, I know who I am. I don't have to eat slop. I know who my daddy is, and my daddy's got plenty in his house. And when he came back to himself, he said, I'm coming up out of this. I dare you to holler. I dare you to jump up. I dare you to high five somebody in your living room and tell them, I'm coming up out of this. It may be an uncomfortable season that we're in. We might feel delayed. We might feel rerounded. We might feel tired. We might feel emotionally exhausted. We might feel like we're surrounded by fog or surrounded by the clouds. I may not be able to see my way clear. You may not be able to see your way clear. You might not be in control of the flight deck. You might not be in the captain's chair in this moment in your life. You might not be able to see anything around you because of the virus. I mean, because of the fog. I mean, because of the clouds that's surrounding you. I may not know when it's going to be over. I may not know where the bottom of this is. I may not know even where I am in the process. But what I do know, and what I hope you know today, is that God has given you an expected end. We may have lost some time. We may feel like we've lost time. We might feel like we've lost control. We might feel like we've lost some movement, like we've lost our peace. But at the end of the day, I still have an expected end. Sometimes you got to tell the devil, you might have gotten my peace, but you did not get my expected end. You might have got my job, but I still have my expectation. I've been in a fight, but I'm holding on to the expectation that God has given me. I faced some storms in 2020 that I didn't really see coming, that I wasn't prepared to have to deal with, but I'm still holding on to my expectation. Whatever you do today, somebody hear me from the north, south, east, and west. Never allow this problem that you're facing, never allow the storm that you find yourself in to rob you of your expectation. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but somebody needs to know, it's been tough, it's been disruptive, it's had you a little bit worried, it's lasting a little bit longer than you thought it was going to last. But whatever you do not allow it to rob you of your expectation. The word has given you the authority to keep hope alive. If you are at home, wherever you are today, you ought to put that out in the atmosphere. I am going to keep hope alive. I don't care what CNN or what Fox says. I am going to keep hope alive. Why? Because God still lives. He still rules. He still reigns. And He is the one that is ultimately in charge.